Because we watch these movies within 90 minutes, we have this expectation that it's all supposed to happen very fast. And because of that, I find that very successful, accomplished women unconsciously believe in these fairy tales that I point out in my book. I break them all down that actually prevent them from having the love that they want, from being successful on the dating scene, and from actually being grounded in reality and making powerful choices on the dating scene.
Welcome to yourbrilliance.com. I'm your host, Amy Waterman. Do you think that love should be like a fairy tale? Do you imagine yourself falling in love just like the heroine of your favorite movie? Would you feel embarrassed telling people that you met your boyfriend on Tinder or at a barbecue because it's just so darn unromantic? Then you need to meet our guest for today, Crista Beck. Crista has spent the past 11 years as a dating coach and matchmaker helping singles find love. She believes in the power of real love and its ability to change their world. But what she doesn't believe in are fairy tales. She tackles Disney princesses and Hollywood love stories in her best-selling book, Break the Glass Slipper. Free yourself from fairy tale fantasies and find true love in real life. And today we're going to find out where all of those Cinderella stories went wrong. Welcome, Crista.
Yay! Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here with you.
Well, first of all, I have to say, I am so glad you are tackling the subject because I have a daughter and I have had to watch all over again Snow White and Thumbelina and Sleeping Beauty. And it is amazing how, from the perspective of age, I feel really, really uncomfortable with what those movies are teaching, what women should be. Like, women should be kind and women should be good and they should be helpful and they should be patient. And then if they do all those things, some man is going to recognize their worth.
Yes. Yes. The more old-fashioned Disney movies, there's definitely more of like the role of the woman is more in that subservient role. I do like the fact that Disney movies more so these days are showing more empowered women like Mulan and things like that. But the problem that I have with Disney movies is the whole how they've kind of come into our minds and have affected how we think dating should be. That because we've watched so many Disney movies, because we've watched so many rom-coms, we kind of have this expectation that love's supposed to happen like that love's supposed to be this magical spark moment where you're supposed to see the birds and the butterflies and you just feel the sparks going. And because we watch these movies within 90 minutes, we have this expectation that it's all supposed to happen very fast. And because of that, I find that very successful, accomplished women unconsciously believe in these fairy tales that I point out in my book. I break them all down that actually prevent them from having the love that they want, from being successful on the dating scene, and from actually being grounded in reality and making powerful choices on the dating scene.
But here's my question. These are smart, successful women, and those are children's movies. I can understand how kids get sucked in, but we're grown women, we're critical thinkers, we can see through stereotypes. How much do those movies still affect us?
I mean, let's just take, for example, in Disney, we just see that love magically happens, right? Or in these rom-coms, somebody just bumps into someone on the street and then all of a sudden they're falling in love and it's this quick thing. In the subconscious mind, Americans, and I don't know if your audience is global or just Americans, but the average American in their lifetime will actually watch 5,000 movies. So that's imprinting. You're taking in information. It affects how you think about things. So just think for the moment that you're taking in all this messaging that love will just magically happen. Then you kind of show up and you don't know how to date. You're just winging it. I hear over and over again, you want to hear the main thing that I hear single women say when they're in their 30s and 40s? I thought love would have happened to me by now. I thought love would have happened. They actually think that love will magically happen without them having to do any work. They actually believe that. And that's why I'm saying these are smart, successful, accomplished women. And it's not their fault that they think this. When you take in all of that messaging and think that that's how it's supposed to happen, it's really easy to see how like women are like, oh, well, I just thought if I just live my life, it would just happen to me. But they're not going out. They're not going out on dates. They're not making an effort. They're not on any apps. They're not telling friends what they're up to. They're not making it a priority in their life. They're not being intentional about it. So that's why a lot of successful women fall into this rut because of Hollywood and Disney.
But there is this idea, right, that if you have a romantic beginning to your love story, like you're at a party and you see his eyes across the room and it just happens spontaneously, that is somehow a better love story than the woman who spent an hour on Match.com every night, went out on date after date after date, and all that hard work finally met someone. I mean, come on, that's not romantic.
I know people they do want that romantic story, but here's the thing. You have a whole lifetime of creating romantic love stories. And here's the thing. Love at first sight is the exception, not the rule. I would say in my experience, very few people actually fall in love at first sight. That for the majority of people, it is like you casually meet someone, you start to make a connection, maybe you go out on some dates, maybe there's not like huge sparks, maybe they were a family friend, but over time you've developed a connection and it actually evolves into something really romantic and beautiful. And so like, I would say if that's a concern, Amy, for women, like that they are so committed to having that romantic beginning, like, don't put so much pressure that it has to be that first moment. Just have the intention that you want to attract romance into your life and attract those romantic memories. And it's put yourself in that feminine space of attracting that to you so that you're not just having the romantic moment in the beginning. Don't you want to pick someone that you can actually have a romantic moment after 30 years together? Like that's the real goal, right? To have those still romantic feelings. But if women make that choice that they need to have that instant romantic connection in the beginning, then, and a lot of times that's just based on chemistry and not alignment with values and goals and dreams for the future. They're just so wrapped up in the chemistry and the fairy tale that they make poor choices. And no wonder why we have all these divorces, because people are making the most important decision of their lives based on a fairy tale and not grounded in reality.
Okay, so your book is called Break the Glass Slipper. And I assume that's Cinderella's glass slipper. And I assume that the glass slipper represents love that fits, represents that perfect match between that one unique woman and that one unique man. What does it mean to break it?
Okay, so for me, I love how you're taking that perfect fit and I love it because how I interpreted Break the Glass Slipper was kind of like, Cinderella, the glass slipper is very symbolic. It's symbolic in that famous movie, that famous story, Cinderella, right? And it's so tied in with the juiciness of being chosen and be a man chasing. It just has so much yumminess to it for a woman, right? But but also as women, there's this term like break the glass ceiling. And it's about breaking through our own internal glass ceilings to what's really possible in love. And my perspective is that in order to attract a really healthy long-term love based in reality that actually can be fulfilling for you in the long run, you need to break your own glass slippers. You need to break these fantasies. And that's what the book's about. It's the top 10 mindsets, fairy tales, stories that I kept hearing over and over again that I could really tie into Disney and romantic comedies. And so I documented these. And so in the book, each of these fairy tales are a glass slipper. So I'm inviting women to notice their own glass slippers and break them so they can be free of them and really date in a way that's just more freeing and grounded. And yes, still full of love, but real love, not fantasy love.
And one of the things I have to say that is so important for me personally is that the problem with being chosen is that you're stuck with the man who chooses you. You don't get to be the chooser. And I just think so many women wait around for a man who loves them in a way that they think is like a romantic prince. So, but they didn't pick him. They just got chosen. Why would we want to do that?
And that's why I teach women to be the CEO of their love lives, to really embody what does a CEO need to be in order to run a successful company? They need to have the right players on their team. They need to have a clear direction. They need to have goals, intentions. A CEO doesn't like run a multi-billion-dollar company and be like, okay, we're just going to see what magically happens in this company, right? We're just going to see. No, the CEO, she needs to make sure that she has the right team. And she doesn't just think, oh, I really had nice chemistry with this person and they're really hot and they have a nice butt. And I think I'm going to hire them for this very important role in my company. No, she doesn't do that. She vets them. She interviews them. She has standards. She has a certain intention of what the role they need to do and play. And I'm not inviting women to show up on first dates in interview mode at all, because that's a big turnoff. But to just see yourself like you are actually being a stand for you to bring someone onto your team to make your life beautiful. So you need to be grounded in reality and practicality of like, and look at him on the court, not his potential, but like, how is he showing up? And is he in alignment with what would fulfill on your personal dreams coming true? Is it a family? Is it creating a legacy? Is it creating romantic moments? Is it travel? Is it that emotional intimacy? We as women need to do our own gosh darn introspective work and really get grounded in who we are and who we absolutely need to have in our lives, not the superficial stuff, the real value level stuff. And that's why I feel like it's really important for women to just embody that queen, embody that CEO. They rule. And you are the ruler of your love life. But you could still be feminine and beautiful as you're sorting and choosing.
So that is the question, isn't it? Because when we hear words like CEO, so many women who have read lots of dating advice and imbibed all of the theories about women should be feminine. Women should never come into a situation with their masculine energy because then the man will feel like he's dating another man. He won't like her. It'll be an instant turnoff. So what I hear from the dating advice industry in so many places right now is that alpha males prefer the old school Disney princesses, and they are turned off by the Mulans and the Moanas because those women are a challenge. Those women are trying to be men, and it turns them off.
Oh, I love that question. And I'm going to humbly disagree because I think because I work with men and women, single men and women, the men that come to me are successful and they want an accomplished woman. They want a strong woman. They want a woman that has her act together, who's successful in her own right. But yes, they do want a woman who embodies her femininity. But here's the thing, Amy, it's not about should we be feminine. It's we are feminine. When we are feminine and we're feeling feminine and relaxed in our femininity, whatever it feels like for you, we're in our power. We sometimes take on in society trying to be masculine, or we have to. If we're business women, we have to have that masculine kind of make it happen kind of energy. It's just what it happens. But then there's a balance between being relaxed, being in our feelings, feeling in our body, being in our sensuality, being in that femininity. It feels good for us. It's not for them. It's for us to feel good. So if we're successful and we're showing up in our masculine energy to a date because we're closing deals and we're making stuff happen and we're showing up on masculine, that's where there's some disconnect can happen because when a man shows up to a date, he's masculine, right? So he wants to enjoy your femininity. He wants to enjoy you feeling relaxed. He wants to enjoy you feeling in your sensuality. He wants to enjoy your femininity where you actually feel the most energized and relaxed anyway. And then you're also vulnerable and then you get to enjoy. And so I just feel like there's a disconnect for women because women, I think especially successful women who do, make things happen, they think that they're coming across as intimidating or men don't want them the way they are. Like you even said Mulan, but Mulan got the guy in the end. He was going after her. She saved the freaking country. And that guy was still poking around like, hey, Mulan, men like successful women. And here's the thing. If a man says you're intimidating or I'm intimidated by you or something, he's either going to get over that and still pursue you and want to be with you, or he's going to try to make you wrong for being as successful as you are. So that's on him, right? But what I do find that women can take control over is sometimes successful women that are driven or whatever, they're just focused, whatever, and they're not relaxing in their, let's just say femininity, that they're actually communicating non-approachability. They're communicating non-connection. They're communicating that. So that's why they're coming across as intimidating, but it doesn't mean that their success is intimidating. It's just that they're coming across non-verbally, closed. They're not engaging. They're not communicating openness. So the guy that's saying you're intimidating, that's on him. He needs to take more ownership. I feel intimidated by you. I'm really attracted to you. That's on him. We as women don't need to worry about those men. That's just a poor choice. If women are attracting guys like that, it means they're not attracting men who are of their caliber. But the other thing is on women that they need to, if they're committed to having love, they need to be receptive to connection. And that might be a healing issue. They may need to whatever it is, maybe they have their guard up or something like that. But so that's my little take on the intimidating thing.
And you actually can help women work through this one-on-one. You are still working as a dating coach. You're still working as a matchmaker. And on your website, you've got a really cool free gift. You've got a dating IQ quiz.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's just something I created to be a contribution to people so that they can really see the 4 disciplines that I really adhere to in terms of the work that I do. Plus, it actually helps people to see where they're at, see where their own IQ level is at, to see it's the difference between succeeding and struggling. You get your score, but you also, it's malleable. You don't get stuck in the score. The score helps you to see I actually need to prove more here. Oh, I'm not doing this. So I created it to be a little bit of a mini transformation, a little reflection. So you can actually see in reality what you have in place to be successful in dating and what you don't. And then you can take the actions that you need. Or if they wanted to move forward with me, they sure can and connect with me. But I feel like the dating IQ quiz is just a fun and informative 4 minutes. So you can just kind of get a little screenshot of your love life.
And for those of you watching, you want to take the quiz, you want to break the glass slipper, or maybe you want to work with Crista yourself, we have a link for you. Just go to yourbrilliance.org/Crista. Now that's yourbrilliance.org/CRISTA. Thank you so much, Crista, for coming onto the show. And I wondered if you had any last message you would like to leave our viewers with.
Just love yourself. You're the only one that really can. So get in tune and figure out how you can love yourself even more. Because when you love yourself, then you have love to actually give.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you out there for watching. Now, did you have any aha moments or insights while watching this interview? If so, share them with us in the comments. And for more interviews like these, make sure to subscribe to Your Brilliance TV here on YouTube, and then come on over to yourbrilliance.com for more tips and insights on how you can live your most brilliant life. See you next time.